Welcome to Bible Quiz and Learn Hub. Today, we're diving into the book of Genesis with 25 inspiring quiz questions that span from the creation of the world to the lives of the patriarchs. Whether you're a seasoned Bible reader or just beginning, this quiz will challenge and inspire you. Before you start, be sure to subscribe and like this video. This will allow more people to see the Bible quiz and enable us to spread the gospel farther. Don't forget to share your scores, questions, or ideas for future quizzes in the comments below. Ready to test your knowledge of Genesis? Let's get started. What did God command humanity to do after creating them male and female? Was it A, build a city, B, offer sacrifices, C, be fruitful and multiply, or D, rule over each other? You've got 10 seconds. Give it your best shot. The answer is C. Be fruitful and multiply, from Genesis 1:28 KJV. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. This command emphasized the importance of procreation, filling the earth with life, and establishing dominion over all living creatures. By creating humanity in His image, male and female, God set the foundation for family relationships and stewardship of His creation, illustrating His divine plan for human flourishing and partnership in creation. From what material did God form man? Was it A, clay, B, water, C, wood, or D, dust of the ground? You've got 10 seconds, go for it. The answer is D. Dust of the ground, from Genesis 2:7 KJV. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. God's intimate creation of humanity reflects His power and purpose. By shaping man from dust and breathing life into him, God illustrated both man's humble origins from the earth and his divine connection to God. This moment emphasizes the relationship between Creator and creation, reminding us of our dependence on God and our calling to live lives that reflect His image and purpose. Who is the oldest recorded man in the Bible? Was it A, Noah, B, Adam, C, Enoch, or D, Methuselah? You've got 10 seconds, think carefully. The answer is D. Methuselah, from Genesis 5:27 KJV. And all the days of Methuselah were 960 years, and he died. Methuselah is the oldest recorded man in the Bible, living 969 years. His extraordinary lifespan symbolizes longevity and serves as a reminder of God's patience during an era of increasing human wickedness. Methuselah's life spanned the generations leading up to the Great Flood, showing God's enduring mercy and His timeline for bringing judgment. This story encourages us to value the time we are given and use it to walk in righteousness and obedience to God. What were the names of Noah's 3 sons? Was it A, Cain, Abel, Seth, B, Ham, Shem, Japheth, C, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, or D, Moses, Aaron, Joshua? You've got 10 seconds, go for it. The answer is B. Ham, Shem, Japheth, from Genesis 6:10 KJV. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Noah's sons were chosen by God to continue humanity after the flood, becoming the ancestors of all nations. Shem, Ham, and Japheth, along with their families, entered the ark as part of God's plan to preserve life and repopulate the earth. Their story demonstrates God's faithfulness in judgment and salvation, highlighting His commitment to fulfilling His promises. It reminds us that obedience and trust in God are key, even when the future seems uncertain. How did God say He would destroy all flesh except for those on the ark? Was it A, with fire, B with a flood, C with a plague, or D with a famine? You have 10 seconds. Let's go. The answer is B, with a flood, from Genesis 6:17. And behold, even I do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life, from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. God declared that he would destroy all flesh by sending a flood due to humanity's widespread corruption and wickedness. However, he spared Noah, his family, and the animals on the ark, as a symbol of both judgment and mercy. This story reminds us of God's justice against sin and his gracious provision of salvation to those who remain faithful to him. What did the people decide to build to reach heaven? Was it A, a tower, B, an altar, C, a temple, or D, a golden statue? You've got 10 seconds to answer. The answer is A, a tower, from Genesis 11:4, KJV. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. This refers to the Tower of Babel. Their intention was to make a name for themselves and avoid being scattered across the earth. However, God confused their language, causing them to abandon the project. This story reminds us to seek humility and trust in God's plans rather than relying on prideful ambitions that glorify ourselves. What was Abram's wife's original name? Was it A, Hagar, B, Sarai, C, Rachel, or D, Rebecca? You've got 10 seconds. Think about it. The answer is B, Sarai, from Genesis 11:29 KJV. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah. Sarai, later renamed Sarah, was barren for many years, but God promised she would become the mother of nations. Her story reflects both faith and doubt as she waited on God's promises to be fulfilled. Eventually, she gave birth to Isaac, fulfilling God's covenant promise of descendants as numerous as the stars. This teaches us that God's timing is perfect, even when it requires patience and trust beyond what we can see. What did God say he would do to those who blessed Abram? Was it A, judge them, B, ignore them, C, curse them, or D, bless them? You've got 10 seconds. Take your time. The answer is D, bless them, from Genesis 12:3 KJV. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. God's covenant promise to Abram demonstrated his special favor toward him, choosing him to be the father of a great nation. Through Abram, all families of the earth would be blessed, ultimately pointing to the coming of the Messiah. This verse teaches us that aligning ourselves with God's purposes brings blessings and highlights the importance of honoring those whom God has chosen for his work. Who did Melchizedek, king of Salem, bless after a victory? Was it A, Lot, B, Jacob, C, Abram, or D, Isaac? You've got 10 seconds to decide. The answer is C, Abram, from Genesis 14:18-19 KJV. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him, and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Melchizedek acknowledged Abram's divine role after his victory and blessed him, symbolizing peace and provision. This encounter is significant, as Melchizedek is often seen as a foreshadowing of Christ's eternal priesthood. It reminds us to recognize God as the source of all our victories, and to honor him with gratitude and praise. How long did God tell Abram his descendants would serve in a foreign land? Was it A, 40 years, B, 70 years, C, 100 years, or D, 400 years? You've got 10 seconds. Go for it. The answer is D, 400 years, from Genesis 15:13, KJV. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. This prophecy pointed to the Israelites' enslavement in Egypt. Despite the suffering, God promised deliverance and the fulfillment of his covenant. This reminds us of God's faithfulness and his ability to work through difficulties to bring about his perfect plan and blessings for his people. Who did Abraham claim Sarah was when speaking to Abimelech? Was it A, his sister, B, his cousin, C, his servant, or D, his daughter? You've got 10 seconds. Let's see if you know this one. The answer is A, his sister, from Genesis 22, KJV. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. Fearing for his life because of Sarah's beauty, Abraham misled Abimelech about their relationship. However, God intervened to protect Sarah and uphold his covenant promises to Abraham. This story reminds us of God's faithfulness, even when we fall short in faith, and encourages us to fully trust in God's protection and plans. What did God instruct Abraham to do with Isaac on Mount Moriah? Was it A, sacrifice him, B, anoint him, C, teach him, or D, bless him? You've got 10 seconds. Take your best guess. The answer is A, sacrifice him, from Genesis 22, KJV. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering. God tested Abraham's faith by instructing him to sacrifice Isaac. Abraham obeyed, trusting that God could raise Isaac from the dead. At the last moment, God provided a ram as a substitute. This event symbolizes faith, obedience, and God's provision, foreshadowing the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ for the redemption of humanity. What were the names of the twin sons born to Rebekah? Was it A, Cain and Abel, B, Jacob and Esau, C, Isaac and Ishmael, or D, Joseph and Benjamin? You've got 10 seconds. Think carefully. The answer is B, Jacob and Esau, from Genesis 25, verse 24-26, KJV. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. Jacob and Esau's rivalry fulfilled God's prophecy that the older would serve the younger. Their story reminds us that God's plans often transcend human expectations, and that his sovereignty is at work even in challenging circumstances. Who helped Jacob deceive Isaac to receive the blessing? Was it A, Esau, B, Laban, C, Rachel, or D, Rebekah? You've got 10 seconds. Let's see if you get this one. The answer is D, Rebekah, from Genesis 27, verse 5-6, KJV. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. Rebekah overheard Isaac's plan to bless Esau and instructed Jacob to deceive his father to receive the blessing. While her actions fulfilled God's prophecy, they caused division in the family. This story reminds us of the dangers of manipulation and the importance of trusting God's timing to fulfill his promises. What did Rachel desire that Leah's son Reuben found in the field? Was it A, silver, B, wheat, C, grapes, or D, mandrakes? You've got 10 seconds. Go for it. The answer is D, mandrakes, from Genesis 30:14 KJV. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. Mandrakes were believed to enhance fertility, and Rachel, who struggled with infertility, desired them. This exchange highlighted the ongoing rivalry between Rachel and Leah. It reminds us to trust God's timing and provision rather than relying on superstitions or human solutions for our deepest desires. What new name did God give Jacob after he wrestled with a divine being? Was it A, Esau, B, Isaac, C, Israel, or D, Judah? You've got 10 seconds. Think carefully. The answer is C, Israel, from Genesis 32:28 KJV. Thy name shall be called no more Jacob but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. Jacob's name change symbolized his transformation after wrestling with God. This marked a turning point in his life, from one who sought personal gain to one who trusted God's plans. Israel became the name of God's chosen people, reminding us that wrestling with God can lead to deeper faith and alignment with his purpose. Which two brothers avenged their sister Dinah? Was it A, Aaron and Levi, B, Levi and Simeon, C, Hamer and Aaron, or D, Simeon and Hamer? You've got 10 seconds. Time to answer. The answer is B, Levi and Simeon, from Genesis 34:25 KJV. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males. Levi and Simeon avenged Dinah's mistreatment, but their actions caused serious consequences for the family. Their story highlights the dangers of acting in anger, and reminds us to seek justice through God's wisdom and guidance. What condition did Jacob's sons give Hamer's people for marriage? Was it A, all males must be circumcised, B, an exchange of gifts, C, a peace treaty, or D, a bride price? You've got 10 seconds. Give it your best. The answer is A, all males must be circumcised, from Genesis 34:15 KJV. But in this will we consent unto you, if you will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. The demand for circumcision was part of a deceptive plan for revenge after Dinah's mistreatment. Though it appeared to be a peaceful agreement, it led to violence. This story reminds us to act with integrity and rely on God's justice instead of taking matters into our own hands. What name did Jacob give to Rachel's youngest son after she died? Was it A, Levi, B, Joseph, C, Reuben, or D, Benjamin? You've got 10 seconds. Go ahead and answer. The answer is D, Benjamin, from Genesis 35:18 KJV. And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. Rachel named him Benoni, meaning son of my sorrow, reflecting her pain. However, Jacob renamed him Benjamin, meaning son of my right hand, symbolizing hope and strength in the midst of grief. This teaches us to look for God's promises and blessings, even in difficult circumstances. Which son of Jacob received a special coat symbolizing favoritism? Was it A, Judah, B, Reuben, C, Joseph, or D, Benjamin? You've got 10 seconds. Time to decide. The answer is C. Joseph, from Genesis 37:3, KJV. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. Joseph's coat symbolized Jacob's special love for him as Rachel's firstborn. However, this favoritism caused jealousy and strife among his brothers, ultimately leading to Joseph's betrayal and sale into slavery. Despite this, God used Joseph's trials to fulfill his greater plan, reminding us that God's purposes prevail even through difficult circumstances. What did Joseph's brothers smear on his coat to deceive their father? Was it A, dirt, B, blood, C, water, or D, ashes? You've got 10 seconds. Think carefully. The answer is B, blood. From Genesis 37:31, KJV, and they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood. Joseph's brothers dipped his coat in goat's blood to convince Jacob that Joseph had been killed by a wild animal. This act of deception brought great grief to their father and set the stage for Joseph's journey to Egypt, where God used him to save many lives. This story reminds us of the consequences of jealousy and deceit, but also of God's ability to work through even the worst situations to fulfill his divine plans. What punishment did Judah plan for Tamar when he learned she was pregnant? Was it A, burn her, B, marry her, C, forgive her, or D, imprison her? You've got 10 seconds. Go for it. The answer is A, burn her. From Genesis 38:20 KJV. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot, and also behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her forth and let her be burnt. Judah initially demanded severe punishment, unaware that he was the father of Tamar's child. When Tamar revealed the truth, Judah admitted his fault and declared her more righteous than himself. This story highlights themes of repentance and justice, reminding us to examine our own actions before judging others. What did Joseph instruct Pharaoh to do after interpreting his dream? Was it A, build cities, B, send messengers, C, store food, or D, release prisoners? You've got 10 seconds. Take your time. The answer is C. Store food. From Genesis 40:35-6, KJV. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine. Joseph's wisdom in advising Pharaoh to store food during the years of abundance not only saved Egypt but also surrounding nations, including his own family. This story showcases Joseph's faithfulness to God and his ability to lead with integrity. It reminds us of the importance of stewardship and trusting God's guidance in times of preparation and provision. How many members of Jacob's household entered Egypt? Was it A, 7, B, 60, C, 50, or D, 70? You've got 10 seconds. Let's see if you know the answer. The answer is D, 70. From Genesis 46:27, KJV. And the sons of Joseph which were born him in Egypt were 2 souls. All the souls of the house of Jacob which came into Egypt were 70. 70 members of Jacob's family moved to Egypt, marking the beginning of the Israelites' sojourn in a foreign land. This migration fulfilled God's promise to Abraham that his descendants would grow into a great nation. It reminds us that God is faithful to his promises, even when they unfold in unexpected ways, and that he works through all circumstances for his glory. When blessing Joseph's sons, on whom did Israel place his right hand? Was it A, Jacob, B, Benjamin, C, Ephraim, or D, Manasseh? You've got 10 seconds. Time to answer. The answer is C, Ephraim, from Genesis 48 verse 14, KJV, and Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger. Despite tradition favoring the elder, Israel blessed Ephraim over Manasseh, showing God's sovereignty in choosing whom to bless. This act demonstrates that God's ways often defy human expectations, and his blessings are distributed according to his will. It reminds us that God's plans are perfect, even when they challenge our understanding, and that his purposes prevail over cultural or human traditions. Wow! Thank you so much for joining us in this Bible quiz. We really appreciate your participation. How did you do? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your score and what you enjoyed most. Your comments also help us to get better. Please make sure to subscribe to propagate the gospel, like this video to show your support, and share it with friends and family to spread the word. Don't forget to leave a comment about topics you'd love to see next. Thank you for being part of this journey. See you in the next quiz.